Man, what's up? What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jermaine Benson, and I'm back with another episode. So in today's episode, we're gonna be discussing this whole topic, this whole subject of changing genders, bruh. I never wanted to make a podcast or an episode where I was gonna talk about this, but because I do have a podcast now, I think, or I guess I could talk about it, and because this is my podcast, so yes, I can talk about it. So I wanted to talk about this one because this was very interesting. The first part of this podcast was very interesting for me, and that part was Transspecies. Apparently people, I don't know if this is like a new trend or whatever, or this has been a trend, just that I wasn't aware of it, but people nowadays, besides changing their genders and giving them titles, you guys are now identifying as animals now. And it's kind of crazy though. Like when I think about it, it's kind of crazy though. Now you guys are bored with the whole pansexuals and lesbianism and whatever. So now people are deciding to identify as animals. So let's talk about it for a minute. Right? So I saw this video online. I think it was on Facebook. I don't know where. But I saw this video online about how people now are identifying as dogs, sometimes cats, and people are actually getting plastic surgery to modify their faces and to modify how they look just so they can get that animal look. People, because there's this one trend of this one guy who actually transformed himself into a dog, and when you look at it from the outside, he legit looks like a dog. I think like a golden retriever or something, but yeah, he legit looks like a dog. And then other people are getting plastic surgery where they get whiskers and they're just changing their whole structures, their teeth, their cheeks, everything. They're changing their look just to look like an animal. And you know, my thought and my take on this is, okay, fine. If you want to identify as an animal, fine. But you know what I think we should do as a people is give the people who identify as animals their rights and privileges. Whatever animal you choose to identify as, it should come with its rights and privileges. So if you choose to become a dog, well, where I'm from, not many of us keep our dogs inside like white people. We don't keep. A dog stays outside because its job is to protect the yard from strangers or possibly robbers or intruders. So we keep the dog outside. So if you want to identify as a dog, we're gonna keep you leashed up on outside, we're gonna keep you tied up outside, or you're gonna sleep outside, guarding the whole yard, right? So if you choose to become an animal, you should start living like an animal. So if you want to identify as a pig, we get you a pigsty, and then you can live in the mud however way you want. And then when we feed you food, we just throw food into the pigsty, and then that's how you eat for the day. So if you want to be a cat, well, just that I'm not much of a cat person, I'm more of a dog person. Because interestingly enough, one thing I've observed that I've loved about dogs is how unconditionally they are, how unconditional they are with love and loyalty. I think dogs are the most loyal of animals, even loyal than human beings. That's why I think dogs are great friends than human beings, because they are very loyal and they love you to the end. And it's actually been a personal investigation, because I'm not gonna say a study has been conducted because I don't know who conducted that study, but it's an observation that I made. Dogs are the only animals that are willing to die for you, even to the end. While on the other hand, I've seen that cats are the opposite. Cats, I like to call cats the never mind animals, because with the way I've seen it, cats are like the most unbothered of animals. They don't really care about much except eating and lying around all day and scratching their post and having the 9 lives, which they don't have, by the way. But I've grown to love dogs, probably because since birth, like since I was little, we've always had dogs around the yard. We've never really had cats. It's only this year, this month, that we actually got a cat. And it wasn't for me. It was my younger sister's cat. She has a little kitten, and I still don't like it. I still don't like cats. I've never liked cats. So back to the topic. So I was saying, if a person wants to identify as an animal, they should live outside like an animal. They should get a habitat or an ecosystem like an animal. And here's the thing. If somebody decides I'm going to act and identify as a dog, if I see other dogs, possibly dangerous dogs like pit bulls and Rottweilers, planning on attacking me, and then I remember that I have a family member who identifies as a dog, that's who I'm sending to the battlefield. So if you identify as an animal, the kind of animal you choose with its capabilities, that is what we're going to be using for war. So if you want to act like a Rottweiler or a pit bull, if I see other pit bulls that are possibly a threat, I just send you to go fight for the whole family and to fight for me, to protect me. So I hope the people who choose to identify as animals realize that every animal has its instincts. It has its own nature. So you can't just choose to identify as an animal. Take the whole package of being that animal. You must take its nature, you must take its power, you must take everything that goes with it. And I've seen this video online of people actually walking and doing activities that animals legit do. Like people are skipping and pouncing like cats. People are running like dogs. And it's actually kind of crazy because I've seen some people actually buy handmade tails, cotton-made tails, and install them behind. And then other people, like I explained, are getting whiskers, that legit going to get plastic surgeries to transform how they look. And it's actually kind of crazy though. But you know what? I've actually realized that this whole movement of people switching their genders and switching how they feel, because here's the thing, with people who identify, it's more of a feeling, a thought, or just a decision. What you choose to identify as, the highlight of that sentence or that statement is choose. You choose to identify as a dog. You choose to identify as all those other useless pronouns that they use. And it's not factual and it's not biological that you can switch your genders. There are only 2 of them. And this is actually kind of crazy though, because look at it this way. The people who choose to identify as whatever, now we're excluding the animal part, just the different made genders that people decide to identify as. All of them come from male and female. That shows why am I even saying this, bro? Why am I trying to convince people that there are 2 genders? Bro, it's actually funny because I remember this one quote. I don't remember it exactly how it is, but I'm gonna paraphrase it and we're gonna extract the meaning of it. But it was like, you are only a fool if you try to argue with a fool, because a fool will take you down to his level and beat you at that game. So it was like this story where you can't beat someone who's stupid or a fool at his own game because he knows how to be a fool than you, right? So what I'm trying to say is, the more I try to explain to people that there are two genders, it's almost like I don't believe it myself that there are two genders. Because something that you know to be true, that you know to be honest and factual, you don't need to justify it. And I think that's one reason why people have so many different genders that they try to tap into, because what they're doing is out of feeling, it's out of thought, it's out of decision. And it's like an agenda, because it's a movement, it's an agenda. So since it's not factual, they'll try as much as possible to like justify it with evidence, give it different information to try and sustain how it's so logical what they're doing, how what they're doing makes sense. So if it's factual, you don't need to justify. It will not spark any controversy. But if you know that it is not factual, it is debatable, then we're going to have a lot to say about it. So it was actually crazy when I decided to maybe talk about this topic, because I see now it's a trend, right? It has long been a trend. I don't know when we first had this LGBTQ nonsense and people starting to identify. I don't remember what year it was, and I'm not really concerned about what year it was. But I'm just saying, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a limit to where it's going to end and how it's going to end. I think people are getting bored at this point. I think people are just bored. And I used to have this one theory about people who identify and switch genders, right? And it was mostly on the female sides, like the females or the girls that choose to transition. And it was like, I have reason to believe some people choose to become gay or lesbian not because they feel they're in the wrong body. I think that's just a lame excuse that some of y'all are using, that I feel like I'm in the wrong body. I'm not saying that cannot happen. I don't have the accurate research to justify that, but I do believe, because I did biology in school, so I do believe you can be mutated, you can have a mutation, and then sometimes the estrogen hormones can be greater than the testosterone in the human body of a male. Likewise for the females. So I think it can happen that biologically you feel or you have the hormones of a girl when you are a dude. I think that can happen. But that's an independent case. You people are deciding to take that and use it to your advantage. And then everybody is saying, I feel like I'm trapped in the wrong body. No, you need to pray. You need Jesus, actually. You're not trapped in the wrong body. You need to stay off social media and find Jesus and find God. That's what you need to do. And now, it takes me back to what I was saying, that I think one other reason why people choose to identify or switch genders, which I repeat is not possible. You can't switch genders. But one reason why I think leads people to actually want to change their genders like that is not feeling accepted. You know, as people, we tend to have these negative thoughts about ourselves, and we tend to think negative about ourselves. And sometimes I've seen with different females that some females think they're not that attractive heterosexually, meaning a girl doesn't feel like I'm too pretty enough or beautiful enough to have a relationship with the opposite gender. And then they feel like, since females are more accepting and more loving than males, they could just easily change their genders and then decide, okay, I'm going to be lesbian because I feel like the females are more accepting, and I feel like I'm not a perfect fit or a perfect match for the guys. Likewise, some guys, because honestly, as guys, we are not born pretty, we are not born beautiful, but so we have to work our handsome level up. We have to work our presentations. You must dress well, shower every day, get money. Because honestly, I do believe money washes a guy. If you have money and you get it the right way, it will treat you good. If you treat it good, it will treat you good. So one way we level up as guys is get money, smell fresh, dress nice, all those. And fortunately for females, they are born with natural beauty. So I think other people don't believe that they have that natural beauty, either males or females. So then they are convinced, because one thing that's very toxic and that's very dangerous is this whole social media thing where whatever thought we have, it's a confirmation bias. I read about this in one book. It's a confirmation bias. And when we have these theories and ideologies in our heads, these notions, sometimes social media tends to justify the ideas that we have. Whatever thought you might have, you will find a specific video on social media or online that's going to justify your opinion and your ideas, the ideas that are running in your head. And that's very dangerous because some people don't take the time to actually elucidate and to scrutinize everything that they receive from social media. Some people just absorb what they find from social media. They don't take that time to actually go into detail of what they're being presented. They just absorb it. So if you have an idea that I have depression, let's say, and then you watch a video that says whatever the kind of lifestyle that you are leading and the kind of life you have and the kind of problems you seem to have observed with your life, they lead to depression, or you might have depression. Some people just take it and they're comfortable and like, okay, yes, I am depressed. So that's like the dangerous part about social media. It justifies everything. And I remember this one stupid guy who also transitioned. He's a dude, like a legit man. And then he decided to switch his gender and he started identifying as a she. And then he was asked this question: how did you know that you are gay or you're transgender? And he said his friends told him. His gay friends told him that he was transgender. And I was like, bro,
we have a problem.
Are you nuts? Are you crazy, dog? Like, it's almost like it's a mental illness. This whole thing of like Pride Month is like a mental illness of some sort. I don't know what's happening, but it's like people are just crazy over this thing. And with the previous episode that I had with Leo, he actually brought something to light, something to my acknowledgement that I never really realized. And it's this whole thing of Pride Month. I didn't actually post that video where we were talking about it because I'm still trying to edit the whole video. It's a very long video. It's around 33 minutes. So he actually explained something like, did you know that Pride Month, the word Pride Month actually spells demon in it? Because you have pride, demon. So there's demon in that word, the Pride Month. There's actually demon in there. And it's actually kind of crazy because I do believe it has everything to do with that word. Because I think I'll do my research the second time just to read everything. But I do believe the colors of the Pride rainbow are 6. And that's like the devil's number. If you read in Revelations, you will find that the 3 6s, and I think that's a very popular thing that people know, that 3 6s is the devil's number. It's his mark, it's his number. Now it's actually crazy because Pride Month is actually stripped off the 7th color. I believe, hold on, let me check it. I believe a rainbow should have around 7 colors. Legit, it should have around 7 colors. And I think the Pride one actually stripped off those colors. Now it's going to be difficult for me to try and identify the actual rainbow from the Pride rainbow. Oh yes, I was right. There's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So these 7 colors of the rainbow, the legit rainbow that I know, that was a symbol from God never to flood the earth again with water. Now the Pride flag. Hold on. We're gonna do this research, bro. And then I'm gonna be posting evidence because I don't want to just speak things out of my own mind. I want to post legit evidence. Give your evidence. So when I look at the Pride month, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has 6 colors, excluding the pink, sky blue, brown, and black colors. The original colors are 6 of them, meaning the 7th color was stripped off the flag. So they moved from 7 to 6, which is kind of crazy though. But you know, this whole movement of this whole Pride thing on its own is already crazy. So I think it's already justified for me to even say that it is crazy. It already justified itself as crazy. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't support this whole Pride month and everything. But don't get me wrong, because when it legit comes to this thing of people not feeling comfortable with the way they are, I think that's just a problem of self-acceptance, because some people try to run away from the fact that they have to accept who they are. But besides that, I think there are legit people that genuinely and biologically are not feeling comfortable with their hormones, the way their hormones are packed in their bodies and in their mind. I think some people legit have the wrong gender, right? Those people are excused, because I think the problem with this whole Pride thing and gender switching, I don't have a problem if you feel like you are not a guy, if you feel like you're not a girl, right? The problem comes when you identify and when you give yourself a title. I actually have a podcast on Spotify. It was under Let's Talk Studios, where I was explaining the dangers of using labels. You could go check that podcast out. I have a few episodes on there. The problem comes now when you use a label. You can identify however you want in your head, but the problem arises when you give it a name. Because I feel like when you give anything a title or a name, you solidify it. So why are you trying to solidify that you're feeling otherwise about the opposite sex? It's kind of crazy though. But you know, it's not my business. I don't identify, I don't do all of that. I don't support Pride Month. I don't support anything to do with Pride Month and everything. But I would still support anybody close to me who would say probably they're not feeling the other gender, you know, they're not feeling the other part, the other sex. But I would have a problem when they give it a name, because the emotions, you know, the thing about biology is emotions are real. Emotions are natural things that happen in our bodies. We feel emotions. So I can't penalize someone for having emotions, but I can penalize you for giving it a name and trying to act off of that feeling. Because if you have a society of people who act on how they feel, that's a dangerous society. I've seen it with myself. When I try to do things based on how I felt that day, it doesn't have a good outcome. So when you have a society, because that's the current society I'm observing that we have currently nowadays, that we are a generation that wants to act on how we feel. If we don't feel like working today, we don't feel like working. If we don't feel like talking to people, we just don't talk to people. You know, we are not the kind of young generation that seeks to go and do things regardless of how we feel. Do the necessary things regardless of how you feel. We want to feel right first. And which is like one of the reasons why I established this channel, because it helps me talk, discuss, do things that are necessary, that I don't feel like doing, and then I do them anyway. I think I did explain in some of my videos how I doubted shooting some episodes, but then I did it anyway. I still decided to shoot the videos. I still do what's necessary, because sometimes I don't really feel like doing the dishes. Like just yesterday, I didn't feel like doing the dishes, or like any time. But I still wash the dishes, because how else are we going to eat on clean plates if I don't wash the dishes? You know, that kind of thing. So I'm still trying to work on myself also to like channel my mind and try to remove all distractions, because currently I took the first step. I don't have TikTok anymore. I don't expect applaud, but I don't have TikTok. I stopped listening to hip hop and rap music, especially drill music, because I still listen to music. Like South Africa, I still love amapiano, you know. I still listen to Kum. I still listen to all other genres except hip hop and rap. You get me? Yeah, I think I'll make a separate episode on why I don't listen to hip hop anymore, and then you can subscribe if you want to get to that episode. If you want to learn more about why I don't listen to hip hop, you can subscribe. But until then, that's it for today about Pride Month, about switching genders. Let me know what you think down in the comments about this video. Let me know if you identify. Yeah, I probably won't even help you, but yeah, comment down below what you think of my videos. Hit that like button, subscribe, share the video. Yeah, and I'll catch y'all in the next session. On the flip side. What was that, bro?